My legs had been shattered by the school's queen bee, leaving me confined to a wheelchair. Yet, my own father, a high-powered defense attorney, actually stood in that courtroom as the defendant's counsel. With that silver tongue of his, he managed to secure a not guilty verdict for the girl who nearly ended his own daughter's life. And the reason? Because the assailant's mother had sponsored his college tuition years ago. When I confronted him, sobbing in disbelief, he just straightened his tie with self-righteous calm. His eyes were terrifyingly cold. Everyone is equal before the law, Kara. I can't violate my professional ethics just because the victim is you. And I certainly can't stand by and watch Jade's future get destroyed. Destroy her future? What about mine? Watching that monster, the one who beat me until I was unrecognizable, strut out of the courthouse a free woman. I let out a laugh that sounded more like a sob. The next second, I reached into my bag, grabbed the emancipation papers I'd prepared, and slammed them right into his well-groomed face. Since you're so big on ethics, I hope you do a good job defending the rest of your own life. However, my father didn't even glance at the document. In his eyes, this was just a teenage girl throwing a tantrum. He picked up the papers, crumpled them into a ball, and tossed them into the trash can. Then, he delivered a sentence that chilled me to the bone. Mrs. Grant is hosting an appreciation dinner tonight at the Grandview. You're coming with me. Jade will be there, too. She can apologize to you, and then we can finally turn the page on this whole thing. Turn the page? I was still sitting in a wheelchair. The person who did this to me just walked free, and he expected me to go to her victory party? I'm not going. Dropping those 3 words, I spun my wheelchair around to leave. Behind me, my father's suppressed rage exploded into a roar. Kara, can you stop being so petty? That woman spent half a month's salary on this dinner. If you don't go, you're embarrassing me. Embarrassing him? I didn't even look back. I pushed my wheels as hard as I could, escaping that suffocating courthouse. Outside, my mother, who had spent her whole life being a doormat, was waiting anxiously. But when she heard the words not guilty, she froze completely. How can that be? Your father said he was just going through the motions, that he'd push for probation. I let out a bitter chuckle. Mom, your husband is a star attorney. If he wants someone to walk, they walk. Even if that person is the one who put his own daughter in a cast. Beads of sweat formed on Mom's forehead as she tried to defend him, but I cut her off harshly. Just take me to the hospital. I'm not going back to that house. But right then, she hesitated. Her eyes darted nervously toward the courthouse entrance as she stammered. Your father just texted. He said we need to go straight to the hotel. If we don't show up, he's going to cancel my credit cards. I stared dead at the woman in front of me, a woman who lived her life like a glorified housekeeper. I pulled out my phone and ordered an Uber. Fine. You go. I'll leave on my own. No matter how much she tried to grab my arm, I shook her off and gave her an ultimatum. Mom, if you go to that dinner, don't you ever come see me again. My ride arrived. Through the window, I watched helplessly as my mother sighed, turned around, and climbed into her own car, driving straight toward the Grandview. In that moment, I closed my eyes, and the dam finally broke. This was my family, a father with a twisted savior complex, a spineless mother, and me, the disposable wreckage they could sacrifice at any moment. I had just gotten settled in my hospital room when my phone started blowing up. It was Jade posting on Instagram, a whole photo dump.